And welcome back to the show. Last Saturday was certainly special if you enjoy watching upsets. I mean, we saw some big ones with Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and West Virginia going down at home. But there was also four FCS schools that stepped up and knocked off their FBS opponents. Those included Weber State, Incarnate Word, and Eastern Kentucky. But probably the most dramatic of all those FCS upsets had to be Holy Cross, who won on a Hail Mary as time expired.
Lucas sets up. Here he goes to the far corner of the end zone. It's caught! It's caught! Touchdown, Holy Cross! Coker!
Unbelievable.
And that's courtesy of ESPN Plus. Holy Cross goes to 2-0, knocking off the Buffalo Bulls 37-31. Sluker to Coker on the final play of the game. And so the head coach of Holy Cross is Bob Chesney, and we're thrilled to have him on the program now. And Coach, talk about what it's like to be part of such a dramatic game with a wild ending like that one.
Yeah, I think that, anytime you win on a Hail Mary, it's miraculous, right? And I think, we were fortunate to have a similar situation in our playoff game last year, to advance into the second round of the playoffs for the first time ever in school history. And it was the same connection, Matt Sluka to Jalen Coker. So it was fun to watch. And, when you're sitting there in that Hail Mary moment, it's so crowded down there across the field, and I look low to see that ball falling to the ground, and I never saw the ball hit the ground, and all of a sudden I saw Jalen in the end zone and Ayer and a few of his other teammates jumping around, and I was like, no way. And it was one of those moments that you'll certainly remember forever.
That's right. Last November, round 1 FCS playoffs, Holy Cross against Sacred Heart.
Sluka looking deep for the win. He's got it. He's in for the touchdown.
So, Coach, it's clear your team certainly has the ability to pull off the dramatic victories, but I think what I was most impressed about in the game against Buffalo, you fall behind 14-0, get a touchdown. Right away, though, it's 21-7, the Bulls ahead. How about the resiliency this squad showed to really kind of take the best shot that Buffalo could throw at you and still fight back?
Yeah, I think, for us, that's just sort of, who we are. The resolve of this team is, been on display for many, many years, and I think that from when we got here at the beginning into where we are now, it's just one of those things that, we really, they just won't quit, right? They won't give up, and they really fight so hard for each other, and they believe, regardless of the score, that they have a chance to win the game, regardless of whatever that score might be. And, more often than not, they've proven themselves right. We've been down larger numbers than that and still fought and have been able to come back in the past. So that's just what they expect. Again, until that final whistle blows, none of these guys will hang their head or quit, and I'm really, really proud of that.
So you've certainly achieved results at all levels so far, at Division III, Division II at Assumption College, and also the last few years here at Holy Cross. So I went back and listened to the introductory press conference, and I was really fascinated how you laid out your timeline for success.
When you talk about what's your philosophy and what's your vision, for me personally, something that we had discussed a long time ago at a previous school was, do we intend to be average? Is that the intention of our team? Do we intend to be good? Or is it, in fact, the fact that we intend to be great? And then do we eventually surpass the idea of being great and become something a little bit more superior to that? And I think that's something that when I look at the timing of what is going on here at Holy Cross, it's perfectly aligned for that to be the natural progression that we're able to take. We're somewhere at average right now. And I think in a very short period of time, we can get ourselves to good. And I think after that, we can be talking about great, and then I think we could be talking about elite.
So hearing all that and knowing, what you've achieved at Holy Cross the last few seasons with playoff appearances and the playoff victory last year, are these results sort of in line with what your expectations were, especially considering success in the past?
Yeah, it's eerily similar. I think, I was fortunate to be the head coach at 2 previous programs, and it's crazy how each of them really just mimic the next one. The first program was a very similar situation, maybe a 6-5 type of year at the beginning, and then all of a sudden 8-3, and then all of a sudden double-digit wins. And at both places, for all 3 places, the same thing has sort of occurred. And I think, when I got here, I wasn't speaking, I've never coached at FCS at this level before, but I knew the plan, and I knew that you're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, and I think the ability to reach them and the ability to hear them and the ability to build with them together is something I'm extremely confident and comfortable in, regardless of, maybe their size because they're a D1 player, or the school you're at because it's a similar model and a similar blueprint, and we've had that success. So when I was speaking at that press conference that day, it wasn't that I felt it was just a hope or a dream. It was more of the fact that I knew we were going to do it, and I just needed, to get in front of that team and start to build this process together, and that's exactly what we've done.
Yeah, when I hear your philosophy on this, it sounds very similar to the Vince Lombardi principle about, if we chase perfection, we'll catch excellence. I know, though, your strive for greatness for your student athletes, that extends to both on and off the field.
Yeah, I think for us, it's really about a day-to-day just journey, honestly. And as a team, we talk about, at one point, I was trying to figure out how to reach these young men. And to me, when I started to look at the most successful people on the football field, and then kind of cross-section with the most successful, people in life, I found 3 things to sort of be true. Is one, that the most successful people seem to pay attention to all the little details, right? Every little thing they understand matters. They understand every little thing will add up and eventually help them, reach their goals or hold them back from reaching their goals. So attention to detail has been a big thing that we've always spoken about. And then to me, a positive attitude, as you saw in that press conference, is something that I talk about. You're going to go through negative things at some point in time and find the positive and move on, because really you don't have another option. And then the third one was, being able to do everything as urgently as possible. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing with everything you got. So attention, detail, positive attitude, urgency are really 3 things that we talk about on a day-to-day basis, not just once in a while, but every single day. And I think that's, what our guys believe in, and that's what our guys understand will help them be successful on and off the field. And they really live up to that standard.
So I know you have an ideal situation at Holy Cross. You had a contract extension earlier this year, but with success certainly comes more media attention, more, fans taking notice. And I don't know if you've seen your name out there in different stories or fan wish lists. And just wondering, is that something that is a distraction or something that's flattering to know that you're getting the attention? How do you approach being maybe more in the spotlight than you've been accustomed to previously?
I don't really like it, honestly. I just don't, for whatever reason. I just want to continue to work, here and just work as hard as I can every single day. I don't have no interest in hearing that or seeing that. And it actually makes me a little bit uncomfortable, honestly. And I just think, my job is, to be committed to these young men and give them everything I got every single day. And I expect them to, do the same. So, it makes me a little uncomfortable. At the same point in time, I know why, it might be out there because we've had a great, track record, but I'm really nowhere as one individual, right? It's everybody along the way that's helped me reach, these goals. And I know that will continue to be the case.
So come January, this show takes on a little different focus as we shift to more an NFL draft approach and really kind of dive deep in all the stories out there of not only the guys who are expected to get drafted in the first 7 rounds, but so many have opportunities to make camps and beyond that. And I'm really curious, you have multiple players on your team I think are going to be in that position, but 2 gentlemen in particular have been showing up on Senior Bowl watch lists and Shrine Bowl. Can you talk about the linebackers, Liam Anderson and Jacob Dobbs?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just phenomenal football players. Jake and Liam are, they both have really elite speed for that position group. They're both, high 4.5 kids. They're extremely strong in the weight room. They're extremely explosive. I want to say they're both like close to 40-inch verticals. And they really have just great football minds, and they're tough, right? I think that's what stands out to me about each of them is, they have, just the God-gifted ability. They've worked so hard to get their bodies right and to, get themselves in a position where they're in shape and they're physically, able to, produce, and they're also physically productive out there. And then at the same point in time, they sharpen their minds every single day with what we're asking them to do schematically and situationally. And, their fundamentals are also through the roof. So these are two football players that when I look at that next level, Liam's probably dimensionally, about 6'3", 230 or whatever he might be. And then Jake's just at 6 foot, about 235 or so. And they're, they both certainly check boxes that I think you'd want to see at that next level. And I know that if they got into a camp or God forbid something better than that, I know they would produce, and I know that they would, make us proud. And I know that they would at the same point in time have a long career at that level.
So last year your squad knocks off UConn for a big FBS win, but then the week later, maybe a little bit flat against Merrimack and found yourself down big and just couldn't quite come back on them. You guys avenged that loss in the first week of the season, beating Merrimack already. But what's it going to take this time around to make sure that, there's no letdown following a big victory over Buffalo?
Yeah, well, we got off that plane on Saturday night, and we all, not me, we all were already done with that win. That we learned the lesson the hard way. And this has probably been the two best days of practice strung together that I've ever been around, and I think that just speaks volumes of, again, the hard lesson we learned a year ago. And we were almost blessed to have that lesson because I think it propelled us into a very different way to handle our business in the second half of that season. But we're certainly preparation-wise not allowing that to happen again. And I just love what our guys have done, and I'm looking for a great, great day tomorrow so that when we step foot on that field on Saturday, we're fully prepared and knowing we're going to be in a giant battle against these guys. And I think our guys will be ready.
Well, Coach, I certainly appreciate your time. All the best moving forward for you.
Absolutely, Brian. Thanks so much for thinking about us. Appreciate it.
So that was Bob Chesney, the head coach of the Holy Cross Crusaders. They're 2-0, and they take on Yale today. Really impressive resume from Bob. He's in his 12th season now as a head coach at 45 years old. This is the very definition of, I think, somebody who hasn't been necessarily fast-tracked in the profession. Started out as an assistant after graduating from Dickinson College. First head coaching job in 2010 at Salve Regina. 3 straight winning seasons there, then 5 straight winning seasons at Division II Assumption, and then now in his 5th season at Holy Cross. First year 5-6, but then 3 consecutive playoff appearances, including the victory in the first round last year. So 2-0 looks like a title contending type of team that he has in Holy Cross this year. We'll see how they progress, and of course a lot of football between now and playoff time. But Bob Chesney, definitely a name you want to remember. I know he's happy at Holy Cross right now, but just a name you want to keep in your mind moving forward. I think he's got a long, prosperous career ahead. Well, we're going to come back here momentarily, College Football Weekly on Sports Map Radio, and we'll wrap it up next.